myself together here. Okay. Hi, are you Marley?
Yeah.
I'm Michaela. Nice to meet you. I'll be your clinician today. Today I'm going to have you sign the HIPAA form, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability, which is basically an agreement on the privacy of today's meeting and future meetings with me. Explains the PHI, which is the Protected Health Information. And I do want to make it clear to you that you can disclose any information or any sensitive information you have, but because of mandatory reporting, I will have to report any suspicions I have of you being a harm to yourself or to other people. Okay, so what brings you here today to see me?
Well, work has been tough recently. The other day we had a child decide, I work for the YMCA at Happy Valley in their after school program, and the other day we had a kid start running, and since then she's like, I guess in the past week or two, she's run a couple times, but it got really serious one day and she ran around the building, and then she ran inside the building, and yeah, we basically had to have 2 staff members focused on her, trying to get her back to the group, make sure she's safe, all that. At the same time, there's some other kids doing crazy things, and so it's just a really stressful day, and we haven't really been able to figure out how to connect with this one child who's running. Can't figure out what triggers it, because it seems very random. So yeah, that was just a tough situation that we're in right now. Yeah.
So you're feeling frustrated that there's a lot of overwhelming things going on in your work today, especially when it's regarding young kids and
Yes.
you're in charge of them.
Yeah, definitely frustrated because we can't seem to connect with this one child to understand on a deeper level why they're doing these behaviors when they previously didn't. And yeah, also it's just a concern because I really care for the kids.
For sure.
I work there 4 days a week, and on the day that I don't work, I'm like, kids, I hope everything's going okay. I'm thinking about them all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really care about them.
So are you feeling stuck between wanting to make sure they're okay and also trying to figure out what's making them not act okay? Have you talked to the parents?
Yes. So the parents of the child that runs are separated, and so we believe that has something to do with it because they don't communicate very much or at all. The child and their sibling both bring a change of clothes to school so that when the other parent picks them up and they are switching to go to a different home, they have the clothes with them. So my guess is they really just don't communicate at all, or they spend most of their time at one household. And I can tell that the parenting styles are different, and so then I think it's going to be tricky for that kid to have 2 different parenting styles and then also have the authority of their classroom teacher, and then come to the Y and have a whole nother set of rules that's going to be different. So they kind of have 4 different environments right now where rules and expectations might not be aligned.
So you're feeling that the kids are getting 2 separate ways of kind of learning how to grow up right now.
Yeah.
And that's clashing because they're running away.
Yeah. You can tell that they prefer one parent over the other.
Okay.
For sure. But also that parent seems to be a little bit more strict and kind of know how to still care for their child and whatnot, but be more of an authoritative figure. Where the other parent, you can tell, is just kind of hands off and maybe is not guiding them in the best direction.
Okay.
It's just tricky because I think we also have suspicions that either there's some learning, their child is either having some like learning disability, or they're like struggling in learning some way, or they're just like developing slower than some of the other kids. It feels like they're not at the same level,
Okay.
like academically and intellectually, emotionally, like they're just behind. Both the siblings are behind, but especially the younger one, who's the runner. But we can't get any of that information until we get like a legal document saying that we can go to their teachers and like ask for all of that.
Right.
And that's just like taking time, and it's not going as quickly as we'd like. So
Is this affecting your home life and your school life? Are you spending too much time worrying about it maybe, or?
I think I do a pretty decent job of like disconnecting the two enough that I can focus on things, but I would say it definitely is a distraction while I'm at work, because we have close to 40 kids registered, and we don't have that. It's a different number every day because of clubs, and some kids aren't signed up to come every day, but we usually have 4 staff working, but we don't always, and like you can't have 2 staff, you know, trying to chase down this one kid and then leave another staff with like 25 kids, because that's just not safe at all. That breaks the ratio that we have written out in our policy that you know, allows room for child abuse to happen and things like that, because children can wander off and whatnot, and so it's just tricky and difficult in that situation when you want to like give even amount of attention to all the kids. You also want to worry about safety issues, but then you know, you have this one kid who you obviously can't leave alone. You can't just like have them running around, and you can't leave one staff member with them, and so you know, calls to the office happen a lot. Or like, supervisor, please come help us out.
Yeah. So you're feeling really you're feeling really stuck between caring for this one kid, it sounds like, because you're talking about this specific kid a lot, and you're recognizing that he's not just a troublesome kid, there's other things going on. So you're definitely caring a lot more about this kid than the others. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I would say it's not that I care more about this kid, it's just that this kid needs, I care about all the kids, but it's just, it's difficult because we try really hard to not specialize or like give special attention to certain kids, but then there's obviously times when you recognize that this kid, they need more support at this time than other kids. You know, there's some kids that they come every single day, do the exact same thing, they have their group of friends, they have a great home life, you know, their parents well, you know, they might have a bad day here and there, they might not be feeling well, they might be like, you know, just like everything might send them off on this one day, but for most general part, or like generally, those kids are pretty fine. But like when you know that a kid is going through something at home, and they have some external factors that are affecting their ability to like be part of the group and practice like our rules and stay safe, and like it's tricky because it's like you have to give them more support. So yeah, it's tricky to find that balance, and that's something that I think all of us staff are definitely struggling with.
Just trying to find that balance. So how many kids did you say that work with you on a day to day? Like you?
I would say it ranges from like 20 to 40.
20 to 40.
On
So
a
you
day.
have 20 to 40 kids on a day, and how often do you see this specific kid?
They come every single day. Most of our kids come 5 days a week.
Okay.
But there's like maybe 10 kids that aren't there on like 1 or 2 days a week, or they come like Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something.
Okay, so you see this kid every time you work, and the parents are separated, and they have a sibling, right? And you said they go to school, and then they get picked up by the other parent, and they have to whole other change of clothes or whatever, and then the little one might having learning disability isn't as, like you said, not as equal as everyone else academically, and they're running away. and all of this is stressing you out while you're at work as well as your other staff members and when you're out of work. Well, okay, I'll ask this first. Have you been working with kids for a while?
Yeah, I've worked with kids since I was like 12.
Since you were 12. Has there been any skills or any strengths that you found that match and help like kids like this one that have learning disabilities maybe or is acting out for personal issues?
I would say this is kind of new territory for me, yeah.
New territory.
Because most of my child experience has been like babysitting, nannying, that sort of thing, usually for families that can like afford that.
Yeah.
And I can see like a lot of kids that are in the Y program are there because they need that financial support of like childcare that they can get for a free reduced price while their parents work and stuff. And so I'm not used to seeing people that have like a lot of exterior stress in their life or have experienced any sort of trauma. So this is probably a new
Okay.
area for me.
Alright, Marley, it was very nice meeting you. Let's meet up again, and while I'm gone, let's focus on some strengths of what you can put forth to this child. It was nice meeting you.
Great, awesome, thanks.